Hello students, welcome back to the new video. In the previous session, that is the first part of this chapter heat, we have learned what is heat and what is temperature. In this session, we will study about how can we measure the temperature. Students, do you know which device is used for measuring temperature? Yes, it is thermometer. So, thermometer is used to measure the temperature. To measure temperature. Students, do you feel that the same type of thermometer we can use for measuring our body temperature and temperature of all other objects? No, it cannot be. To measure the body temperature, we need to use a special type of thermometer, that is clinical thermometer. And to measure the temperature of other objects and room temperature, etc., we need to use another thermometer, that is laboratory thermometer. Laboratory thermometer. Have you ever seen a clinical thermometer? Yes, you might have. When you go to a doctor with a complaint of fever, doctor must be using one device to measure your fever. Have you noticed that? Carefully, this instrument is actually the clinical thermometer. Now, we will study the special features of the clinical thermometer and how it is used to measure our body temperature, and also what precautions should be taken while using this clinical thermometer. So, now we are going to study about clinical thermometer. A clinical thermometer consists of a long, narrow glass tube. It also has a thin-walled glass bulb at one end of the glass tube, and this bulb is filled with mercury. Children, there is one reason for taking the thin-walled glass bulb and also mercury in the thermometer. You know that glass is a bad conductor of heat. So, to have the heat transfer taking place in the proper way between the mercury and its surrounding, the bulb has got thin-walled glass. If it is a thick-walled glass as the long narrow tube, the heat transfer will not take place in the proper way. Now, we are taking mercury for thermometer. Why only mercury? Mercury is the only metal at liquid state in the room temperature. Secondly, it has got a shiny silver color which will help us to see the temperature through the glass tube. And also, the expansion of mercury is uniform. That means for a small rise in temperature also, the mercury expands in the uniform way. For these three reasons, we use mercury in a thermometer. Now, it has got a long capillary tube also. One end of this capillary tube is dipped in the mercury filled in the bulb. Children, do you know what is capillary tube? It is a very thin tube with very less radius through which the mercury can rise and it will show us the temperature level. So one end of this capillary tube is dipped in the mercury filled in the bulb. And one important feature of this clinical thermometer is its constriction or kink. In the capillary tube, we can see a small bend-like structure, This is known as constriction or kink. Why do we need to have a kink in the capillary tube? It is very important. This kink or the constriction will prevent mercury from moving down before the reading is taken. And also, it has marking of the scale from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius and also 94 degree Fahrenheit to 108 degree Fahrenheit. That is, marking is from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius and also 94 degree Fahrenheit to 108 degree Fahrenheit. Okay. So, we can see that the temperature can be measured in two scales. That is degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. Always the temperature should be stated or written along with its unit. So, why only this range of temperature is marked in a clinical thermometer? Children, the reason is that human body temperature cannot go below 35 degrees Celsius or above 42 degrees Celsius. And in the same way, it cannot go below 94 degrees Fahrenheit and above 108 degrees Fahrenheit. Therefore, the markings in a clinical thermometer is from 35 to 42 degrees Celsius and also from 94 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. Students, now we will study how to use a clinical thermometer to measure our body temperature. For this, we have to follow certain steps. The very first step is wash the thermometer with an antiseptic solution. Why this step is necessary? You know, thermometer is used for measuring the temperature of various people. So, it can contain certain germs also. So, it is very essential to make sure that the thermometer is germ-free before it is being used. For that, it should wash with the antiseptic solution or dip it in the antiseptic solution before and after use. After that, give a few jerks. Jerks means a vigorous shaking like this. Why this step is necessary? In the previous topic, I told you that capillary tube has got a bent, that is called as constriction or kink. Because of that, the mercury which is risen due to the rise in temperature will not fall easily. Therefore, to bring the mercury level down below 35 degrees Celsius, we should give a few jerks. While giving the jerks, it is necessary to hold it very firmly. Now, ensure that the mercury level is below 35 degrees Celsius. Now, place the bulb of the thermometer under the tongue of the patient. Then, keep the thermometer under the tongue for about a minute. Afterwards, take that thermometer and read it. While taking the thermometer, make sure that we should not touch the bulb of the thermometer. Hold it by using the glass tube only. The level of the mercury in the capillary tube gives the temperature of the person. Students, now we will see what are the precautions to be taken while reading and handling a clinical thermometer. First thing, we should not touch the bulb while reading a thermometer. Secondly, always keep the thermometer like this, that is in line with our eyes, and turn it slightly so that the mercury level in the capillary tube can be seen clearly. Third, we should always handle a thermometer very carefully as it can break. Next one is, mercury is a toxic material, that is a poisonous material and very difficult to dispose. Therefore, always use a thermometer very carefully and do not allow that to break. A clinical thermometer cannot be used to measure the temperature of any other object. What is the reason? We have seen that in a clinical thermometer, the markings are from 35 to 42 degrees Celsius. Only this range of temperature can be measured using a clinical thermometer. If we use it to measure the temperature of boiling water or any other hot object, immediately the mercury will expand very fast and it can break. It can cause an accident. Therefore, never use a clinical thermometer to measure the temperature of any other hot object. Then, last one, avoid keeping a thermometer in the sunlight directly or near a flame. Again, the reason is mercury will expand very fast and it can break the thermometer and causing an accident. Students, now you know that we can use both Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale to express temperature. Our normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Here I would like to give you one life skill activity, that is conversion of temperature scale, that is from Celsius to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to Celsius. Student, this is not included in your CBSE textbook, but it will be very useful for you in your day-to-day life as well as for your higher classes. So, let us study this conversion. First, we will see the conversion of degree Celsius to degree Fahrenheit. We can do this with the help of a formula. F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32, or F is equal to 1.8 C plus 32. These both are the general formula for conversion of Celsius into Fahrenheit scale. F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32, or F is equal to 1.8 C plus 32. Now let us understand this by taking few examples. Example 1, 40 degree Celsius. Let us find out what is the equivalent of 40 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit scale. Let us substitute the value of C in the equation. F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. That is, the value of C is 40 plus 32. Here students, we have to use the BODMAS rule of mathematics. So first we will do this multiplication. Here 5 and 40, it can be easily cancelled. 1 and 8 5s are 40. Then 9 into 8. 9 8s are 72. 72 plus 32. That is 104. Therefore, 40 degrees Celsius is equivalent to 104 degree Fahrenheit. So what we can say, 40 degrees Celsius is equivalent to 104 degree Fahrenheit. Now let's take another example, 37 degree Celsius. To solve this, we will use the formula 1.8 C plus 32. So by substituting the value of C, we get F is equal to 1.8 into 37 plus 32. If we multiply these two, we get the answer 66.6 plus 32, which is equal to 98.6. Therefore, 37 degree Celsius is equal to 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. This is our normal body temperature. So, in Celsius scale, our body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, and in the Fahrenheit scale, 98.6 degree. Therefore, from here, you can understand how important it is to mention the unit when we express the temperature of any object. Now, let's see the other conversion, degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius. The formula for this is C is equal to 5 by 9 F minus 32, or C is equal to F minus 32 upon 1.8. So these are the two general formulas used for converting Fahrenheit into Celsius. Let us solve one example. Take one example, 212 degree Fahrenheit. So using the formula, C is equal to 5 by 9 212 minus 32. That is, by substituting the value of F in the given formula, we get 5 by 9 minus into 212 minus 32. Here also we have to use the BODMAS rule. So first we have to solve the bracket. You have to open the bracket first. That is 212 minus 32 is equal to 5 by 9 into 180. Now this 9 and 180, we can do the cancellation method. 1 and here 2 9s are 18, therefore it will be 20. Now what is left? 5 multiplied by 20. 5 20s are 100. It means that 212 degree Fahrenheit is equal to 100 degree Celsius. Now let's take another example, 68 degree Fahrenheit. To solve this, we will use this formula, C is equal to F minus 32 by 1.8. By substituting the value of F, C is equal to 68 minus 32 upon 1.8, which is equal to 36 upon 1.8. Now, here the denominator is a decimal number, so we have to remove that decimal. For that, we have to multiply with the 10. As a result, we will get 360 upon 80. So, here we will do the cancellation method again. 2 18s are 36. The answer is 20. Therefore, 68 degree Fahrenheit is equal to 20 degree Celsius. So students, the last topic of today's session is laboratory thermometer. A laboratory thermometer is used for measuring the room temperature or the temperature of the objects which are used in an experiment. It is made up of a long narrow glass tube. It also has a glass bulb which is filled with mercury. Here also thin glass tube is used for making the bulb. It also has a capillary tube. but there is no constriction or kink in the capillary tube of a laboratory thermometer. There are two fixed points to show the lowest and the highest temperature that can be measured using a laboratory thermometer. The scale is marked from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. In some common laboratory thermometer, we can also see 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. Now, we will see how we can use a laboratory thermometer to measure the temperature of any object. So, now take some water in a beaker and dip the thermometer in it. Make sure that the bulb is completely immersed in the water, but it should not touch the side or bottom of the beaker. Thermometer should be kept straight in the beaker. We can read the temperature of the water directly from the thermometer once when the mercury level is steady. If we take out the thermometer from the water, the mercury level will fall down and we won't get the correct reading. Here, one point we have to insist or refer is that mercury thermometer or a laboratory thermometer cannot be used for measuring our body temperature. Can you say what is the reason? When we measure our body temperature, we take the thermometer from the mouth and then read. But here, if we use a laboratory thermometer, when we take it out from the object, the mercury level easily fall down. So, did you understand why a laboratory thermometer cannot be used for measuring the body temperature? Now, let us see what are the precautions to be taken while using a laboratory thermometer. So, the precautions to be taken while using a laboratory thermometer are: number 1, it should be kept upright, not tilted. Number 2, bulb should be surrounded by the substance of which the temperature is measured. Third one, the bulb should not touch any surface of the container. Apart from this, all the precautions that we have already learned in the case of a clinical thermometer is also applicable here. It should be handled very carefully as it can break easily. So students, you have learned about the clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. Both of it use mercury. But mercury is a toxic material and it is very difficult to dispose. Nowadays, the digital thermometers are also available which does not use the mercury. From the display, we can read the temperature directly. So students, I hope that you have understood both the topics very well. Still, if you have any doubt in the concept or in the questions, you can write in the comment section. I will surely solve it for you. Here are some review questions. Please solve it in your notebook. Thank you.